Yeah, it's just starting off with Black Clover. Okay, and
269.
it's chapter 269.
I'm glad I wrote down the numbers for
So
these. But
yeah,
okay, yeah.
but starts off pretty much with the last one ended, where he was like, the devil had just gotten like really angry, and then like this aura comes off him while he's screaming about how he wants to kill stuff.
Mhm.
So Austin's looking at him with the giant sword above him, with the aura coming off him, and he's like, the key. It's full of what is it?
It's like it's
I
full of
think he
like
says I yeah,
anger.
it's basically just a anger and phantom, but underneath it's sadness.
Mhm.
So, and then us is just like, okay, I get that you have reasons for why you're going to do it, and I'm just going to go against them head on and win.
Hmm.
He's like, I'm not gonna belittle anything that you believe. I'm just gonna show you why I'm more convicted than you, basically.
Mhm. Which is really cool. I always love Austin.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But then the
But
devil's
yeah.
immediately like, you think, is that some kind of joke? You can't use magic and you only have one arm. And then he slams the big sword at him, which Asta basically like jumps off at a run and then comes right up to him and then punches him right in the freaking face.
If only that worked on the word devil. Can you imagine? All those
It probably
cool.
would work on the word devil. Like, there's no reason it really couldn't.
Yeah. It's just a regular punch compared to all their
Yeah.
magic attacks getting canceled. It's just I love the idea that you just punched a devil in the face. Like
Not
so
only that, like
dumb.
right after he punches him, he's got like this he says like, I'm gonna use this body to win. And then he's got these like freaking Popeye level of biceps on him. Basically looks like a baby Yami.
Oh man. I can't wait to get more into this arc. Oh
Yeah,
man.
it's gonna be fun. But
But yeah,
Noct is
sorry.
basically like, oh, the devil has an advantage against magic, but since Austin doesn't have any, this fight's actually really fair.
Mhm.
Which is kind of hilarious since the dude can like summon swords and make them freaking gigantic, and then he's like, "Oh, this is fair fight."
I was just
You
gonna
who can't
say
do very much.
it's like Annie has one arm.
Yeah.
So,
And so the devil like opens up the Grimoire and he summons a bunch of swords at him, and then
he
so we
summons all the
see the
ones
Dweller
Asta
Blade, the
has.
Slayer Blade, and the Destroyer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
and the katana starts going with him, and
Mhm.
Asta just reaches out and grabs it by the blade and pulls it back to him, and he's gonna fight all his other swords with just Yami's katana.
Man, that's
Which, to
cool.
be fair, that's all you need.
I
That's all
wonder.
Yami needs. That's all anyone needs.
I wonder. Do you think he'll give that back to Yami, or do you think
I
when they
don't think he
finally?
can.
You don't think so?
I think it became part of the book, and plus, we've already seen Yami destroyed a katana, and he was like, "Oh well, I guess I'm just gonna go buy another." There's nothing special about the sword except that Yami uses it. It's kind of like, oh, going off on a minor tangent. You ever seen Gintama?
I have not. I've always heard it's good.
The at first you think that wooden sword that he has is special because they're like, oh, it's as hard to steal and stuff, and he's just ordering it from this resort. Like every time he actually breaks one, he just orders another one.
That's awesome.
It's a great thing.
It's
He,
just
he
a
always
stick.
writes the same thing. It's like because on the hill it says like Lake Toho kiosk or something on it,
Mhm.
and he always just paints that back on.
I need to see this so bad.
Gintama is good, man.
I think I got thrown off because I read like or not read, I watched like the first episode and I didn't
Oh,
know
don't.
that you don't do that, but I never went
Yeah,
back
you
to watch
never
it.
watched the first episode. And to be fair, the first comedy arc is a little rough because it is very Japanese comedy.
Oh no. Which,
And
I mean,
later on, they get like more general and they're just hilarious jokes. But in the beginning, it's they'll make jokes that are directly only like a Japanese audience is gonna understand without like knowing other Japanese humor.
hmm.
But oh, it gets so good so fast, man.
I need to check it out. I think it's finally going into its final animation arc. Or like Why did I say it like that? I mean,
Yeah.
the anime is going into
The
its
anime
final
has a
arc.
different storyline than the manga, anyways, and it honestly has a better storyline than the manga.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. They make fun of the manga. They make fun of the manga. They make fun of ads. They make fun of ads for not only for their show, which they always do. They make fun of their sponsors and any product by their sponsors. It's great.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Nothing is safe from Gintama. Not even Gintama.
Sorry about that. I was just, oh man, I'll have to check that out then. Put it on my list of stuff.
I'm okay to go on that minor tangent. That's just Gintama is worth talking about at all times.
I'm just trying to not make it too bad on us since this is going to take a while.
Yeah. But back to what we were saying, the devil's just like summoned all the swords, and Asta saves just the katana to fight against the swords. And the devil basically screams, even without the anti-magic powers, these are ridiculously heavy chunks of scrap metal, and just starts sending the swords at him. So he sends, I think, the smallest one, which is the Dweller blade, which Asta has to like dodge out of the way. Then he has to like strike against the Destroyer. And then he brings down the Slayer on top of him, which is just this massive, like, it's the freaking, it's the Dragon Slayer. It's like literally, it's there.
slams him into the ground.
He's like, he basically like, no matter how strong and tough you are, you can't cut through this with just your body alone, and you can't teleport. So there's no way that's gonna work against some high-ranking devil. And that's when we cut into the lore, which is very good lore. I love this lore. Basically, the devil tells us whenever he got sealed in the grimoire, he had no magic. Like, not just no magic, he had no anti-magic. There was nothing. And then he was in there, and the way he thinks about it, he was in there for a while, just full of hatred and malice, and then suddenly anti-magic appeared inside of him.
So he's so angry that it made its own power.
That's what he thinks it is. But then again, it's like, we know the grimoire's weird. Like, it showed up to, what is her name?
Lucida?
Lucida. It showed up to Lucida shortly before the devil showed up. And this time, it gives the devil the power of anti-magic. And then he talks about, I attained the power, I started training with it, and then immediately the grimoire finds Asta. And it's and then we know how Asta got it too. It's like, it looks like it comes through the grimoire repository, but it literally punched through a freaking wall.
Yeah.
It could have been out back.
Just still with the corpse.
Yeah, but the freaking grimoire, it's got like this weird mind of its own, it seems like. Because even the devil's not exactly certain. Well, first we thought the devil inside the grimoire chose Asta, and that he was trying to tempt him. It's the grimoire doing it. Like, freaking, Lebe straight up says, it's the grimoire chose the human, went to him, and then I just thought, oh, he doesn't have magic, which is perfect, because my anti-magic doesn't work with that. So he'll be a perfect vessel for my revenge.
So
but
I wonder then.
The grimoire, literally a book, is playing like 5D chess with all these people.
There's going to be some like big conspiracy thing with that book at the end of the series. I'm not saying big bad. I'm just
You act
saying,
like there's not already a big conspiracy theory with the book. There's been a big conspiracy theory with the book since chapter 1.
I guess it's more at the forefront now with these last few. Where it's like, this book is definitely doing something.
It's like before it was like, this devil's very mysterious. And it turns out this devil's a child.
It's like, oh, this looks cool. Like, I gotta say, it kind of makes it funny when he's talking to the word devil and they're meeting. And it's like, oh, it's you. It's like, oh, you think it's some cool looking devil based on the shadow and some kind of...
To be fair, he is a pretty cool looking devil.
I mean, yeah. But it's like, you think it's some big, strong dude, and it's literally the guy he probably punched like a friggin'
To
Like
be
just
fair, the word devil, he knew who the word devil was. The word devil could have been the one who literally punched him through the gate.
oh my God. That'd be the funniest thing. If you could go back and
Yeah.
tell, I don't think you could tell from the figure they used which devil it was, but it'd be so funny if it was.
Yeah. There is like a silhouette you might be able to tell, but I didn't see it right off the bat, so it probably doesn't look much like him if it does look like him.
I think it was a big one because I think they just had like some generic big devil dudes
Yeah,
down
but
there, and I think it was one of those. But I was,
and
yeah.
honestly, like sizing of devils means nothing because like in their inner world of like every character who has a devil, we
Mm.
see them as ginormous.
That makes me wonder though, because when they had the plan with Lucifero, he is giant. Is he special, or is it just how they think he'll look? I wonder.
I think that's just how he presents himself. I don't think he's actually that big. I think
Mm.
he's going to be big, but I think he's going to be like maybe 8 foot tall, bigger than a human, but not outrageous.
Oh, okay, yeah. Not One Piece levels yet. It's 22
Yeah,
feet tall
not
people.
two. You are 80 meters tall.
Man, speaking of that, I can't wait for that next Attack on Titan chapter. If it's the end, then I'm so interested. If it's not, then I'm kind of going to be upset. You know?
We all know my opinion on Attack on Titan at this point. Is like people overhyped it to the point where it's not going to meet any expectation. The ending can still be pretty okay, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh, this is the most high tier garbage of all time. I can't believe I liked this." The ending's not bad, but it's also like people are overhyping. Like whenever they're like, "Oh man, this is the best chapter ever," and it was literally, without any spoilers, a bunch of Titans walked, and that's all that happened. That was legitimately 3 chapters.
You know, I really like after the time skip, it started off so well. I'm like, this is going back to peak Attack on Titan, and then the past like 3 chapters, like you said, have just been walking, and it's like, okay, we got you. You can skip past this if you want. I mean, we know what they're doing. You could show anything else, please.
It's not even like at this point, it's not even building a sense of dread. Like now, this has become the Attack on Titan hate train, and I don't want it to be, but we'll just finish this and get back. It's like, okay, he's not doing what like a lot of other manga do, where they're like dragging out to build the dread. He already built the dread. He knows he built the dread. At this point, you really are just wasting page space.
That's what it feels like. Like there's
That's
so
it.
many parts of it.
Especially since he did say it was going to end this year, and now I don't think that's the case anymore. And if that's not the case, then okay. But it's like it could have ended this year if he would have just like reduced the amount of like the Titan walked.
There's a page. I felt really stupid. I don't know why. It just kind of bothered me. But in the big Titan Walk chapter, one of them's walking over a mountain and it trips and falls. And I'm like, is this supposed to be comedy? People are literally okay. This is a
Well,
little bit
everybody remembers the floppy Titan from the beginning.
well,
Everyone remembers floppy Titan.
it wasn't even there. But it's like here's a small spoiler. They show a child that I don't think at that point you've met. I think it was just like a random child. And this child gets crushed to death on screen and like his body is like torn to pieces, right? In the same chapter, less than 5 pages ago, we had it trip like it stepped on a banana peel. It's like, why did he do that? It's so weird. It's like, is that supposed to be funny? We're literally about to see a child die.
I think it's supposed to show like they're mindless, but like back off that tangent onto the other tangent so we can get off the tangent because we're now tangents in. You know what? Never mind. I don't even know where we were in the last tangent. We're just killing the tangents.
Let's see what we're doing.
Anyways, it was right after he
Oh yeah, we're
explains
talking
the
about the
thing
anti-magic.
about like he
Yes.
yeah, the Grimoire chose him, and then he's like, this was the perfect vessel, and he's like, now I can use this body basically to let loose and kill all of them.
Mm.
And so Austin just suddenly does like the breathing techniques he got taught.
Mm.
and then he launches over one sword, kicks off the other to flip under the other one, and basically he does the whole dancer guy's set, and
I
he's
wish I
just
could
like,
remember that guy's name, but
me too.
I think it's
I
Kayato? Maybe?
maybe
Oh,
I never cared for him because like his sister got her throat punched out in that arc, and I was like, wow, I care about this, and then that just got magicked away, and I was sad. But
I know. It's like, oh, consequences. I didn't expect that. And then
I
just
loved the
another.
consequences, and then like Austin's just like he's like, there were no consequences for me. There's no consequences for anybody. Which, to be fair, that's very Asta of Asta, but
It's funny because that part where he loses the use of his arms after that fight is one of the best parts in Black Clover to me. Which at least they make that last like an arc ish.
Mhm.
It was kind of nice. But then it's like, oh, like these people got maimed, but we're okay. We have magic. Which I mean, fair enough. Did I expect it? But it's just I think it's the fact that they
And it led
introduced
into
it.
like a lot of stuff with Vanessa that was actually necessary because like Vanessa's character was kind of there before then.
Yeah, they give her a little bit of stuff to work with, but then the Witch Forest arc was pretty cool for her.
Yeah, and then it just made her a very extremely relevant character. She's one of the most relevant characters. Charmy is still freaking the only character I think to have never lost any fight. It was literally her and Yami, and now Yami is off that list.
Is he technically the? I mean, he got ambushed. He beat.
Still, Charmy got ambushed and dunked on her.
Fair enough.
Charmy is still the only one to not get completely dunked on. Like, unless you count what just happened with the whole like blood curse devil as Charmy losing, but that's more of a tactical retreat, and I count that as Charmy draw. But you do not want to face the Charmy. No one wants to face the Charmy.
No, Charmy. I like all the Black Bulls.
I love her. I love her so much because she should not be this tiny but mighty creature, and she is.
Oh, it reminds me of Pantheon stalking when they do the art changes every once in a while. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like,
but to like the nth degree. So yeah. But yeah, he strikes. He does the. He basically takes the Ganchus guy move. I think we've already talked about this.
Yeah.
It's very like Black Clover's been doing this. My Heroes actually gets like more
into
complaints about how they do it.
Mm.
But Black Clover's always done it too. It's literally like I will borrow from anybody and add it to my repertoire. And this isn't just like unique to these either. Naruto did
it. They all do it. I think even Bleach did it.
Yeah,
didn't it?
Everyone does it.
I didn't mean to bring up Bleach in particular. I was just trying to think of another one.
No, but you're 100% right. Like everyone does it, and it's not a bad thing. This is a really good thing. It's like literally, it's like there's a reason you do things the way you do it. I'm going to take that and add it. And he basically this entire fight scene for this entire chapter is just showing how much Asta's grown without magic, just because of like the strong swordsman he's fought plus ki. It's like I can sense what you're about to do, and then I am both strong enough and practiced enough that I can actually do something about it. So he just has these sick flip things, and he just tells him is like, oh man, if I focus on just reading your ki, your swords are really, really easy to pick up.
Yeah.
Which is this huge flex from Asta, which isn't normal. And then that's whenever the narrator is like, Asta has watched and fought all sorts of basically the best magic swordsmen across the world. And it's just showing like images of like it's here, let me look at the images. It's Mars, Patri, the dancer, Yami, and his first
forest
teacher, the
teacher
wind guy.
The wind teacher.
Yeah. It's like he's picked up from all of these. He's learned moves from fighting alongside all of them, and he, despite even after becoming a magic knight and then getting anti-magic and the block Asta and all that, he never stopped training both his body and the techniques he was learning. He's been practicing all of these, which is amazing because he literally he starts using moves from like he uses Mars's big what is it, the technique he uses with that large crystalline
the
claymore,
golem
I think
thing?
it was like something cleaver. Yeah, he literally uses the cleaver move. He switches over. He does the switch up that the wind guy does, and then right after that, it's like although it's basically what does this say? Give me 1 second.
Oh, no trouble.
Oh, they say that it may be no match for powerful magic by itself, but in the one battle against the anti-magic devil, Asta's efforts pay off, and he ends it after doing the switch up from his first teacher. He goes straight into Yami's like lightless slash thing, where he like pulls it and cuts across, and he literally strikes the exact same pose as Yami, with Yami's like shadow form behind him smoking, which
And you see
pisses
Noct
off
just
Nox
like,
just a little bit. Yeah.
I'm still thinking that like all these devils have just like warped his personality, I would imagine. Like he has 4 of them. I would imagine they make him
And
a
it
bit
looks like
different.
he's got something going on because it looks like this house is destroyed, but it looks recent.
Like not like cobwebby. It's more like somebody just went there and started busting stuff.
And at the very least, it's like, okay, since this happened, Noct may not be fixing anything, but he's at least cleaning it if it was a while ago. It's like something about this is messed up. But yeah, it's this right after that, he goes for that lightless slash thing. The devil's opened up and like falling backwards, and he's like, your opponent isn't just
Okay.
All right, so going back to where I had that thought.
Yes.
No, we're good. It's oh yeah, he saw Austin basically says it's like you're not just fighting against somebody who can't use magic. You're fighting against someone who doesn't have magic and who has fought some of the insane, some of the strongest warriors.
Okay, so you want to explain?
Yeah, there was just I had some internet issues, and now I had to switch over to my phone, so the quality and like the camera and everything's gonna be different. But trying our best here.
It's been an experience with this the last few times.
Our third time trying to record this.
Yeah, it's oh man. The worst part is this recording's gonna be long, so it's like for some odd reason the universe just wants to get us on this one.
Yeah.
Oh man. Sorry. But
yeah,
getting back to Black Clover. Oh, sorry. Were you?
No, I was gonna say like that wasn't the worst part for it to happen, because literally all that was left is like the chapter ends with like Asta stabbing at the devil, like it dodging under, and he just basically knocks it on the ground from the chin.
Yeah.
And that's where that chapter ends.
So then leading into 270, Asta has now won the battle at this point. So
yeah,
Noct tells him that he can make
oh, you're skipping some parts there.
Oh, am I? I'm sorry. Let me
It's like he knocks over the devil and says that he wins, and the devil kind of like fell to all fours, and then suddenly like these runes start popping out of his neck.
Yeah, sorry.
And turn into like a shadow collar and hook him to the ground by his neck. And it with like metal ties in the ground, and he's just pulled down hard.
Yeah, so he's like helpless at this point with these. And Noct then says that the ritual, like the preparations are complete for the devil binding. So now Asta can pretty much tell the devil to do whatever he wants. Like if he says oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was saying he tells him that you're now in a position of complete dominance, and the devil can be made a servant of without any right to refuse. All he has to think about is like the words "obey me," and then it will has to follow any rules in that he sets in basically any kind of parameter.
But you can tell that Asta is not for this.
Yeah, he's just kind of listening, and he's like, "Okay, that's the path you should take to be the warrior." Asta's just kind of staring, and then he's like, "Oh, I see. If that's the case," he just stabs Yami's sword to the ground, and just kind of sticks his hand forward, and he's like, "Be my friend." And the devil just looks at him like he's playing like just the dumbest thing alive, which not far from the truth, but.
He replaced his brains with his ginormous Popeye biceps.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Asta says that, and then let me see.
Yeah, he goes on further. He's like, do devils not like do not know what friends are or something? Because it was like because the devil was acting where he's like, well, it's basically we're gonna treat each other as equals, and then that's where Nox starts interrupting him. He's like, are you trying to make a contract about equality with the devil? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I said before that he's the reason that I got so far. And it's like
he let me borrow his power to use in all these fights. I wouldn't have made it.
I still don't know anything about him. So the first thing I'm going to do is make friends with him. And that's when Doc just kind of lays in him and he's like, are you, with how dumb he is, like, he's basically like, are you that dumb? That contract is literally worse than doing nothing. There's no binding to it. It's literally, hey, can I use that? No, cool. That or yes, cool. It gives neither one a position of authority over the other anymore. And then that's when, again, Asta's just like, well, he never once fought me seriously. He kept saying stuff like kill, kill, but he held back the entire time. And he just looks at the devil. He's like, you're the type of person who can't kill somebody, aren't you? But you will. You're going to fight for somebody. In that case, we're going to be best friends, basically.
And then after that, let's see, what did I write here?
That's when the little shadow chibi people show up.
All the little cute shadow little demon dudes show up, which makes me excited for Shadow Levy or Libby. Man, we're never gonna until the anime tells us we're never gonna get the right.
We've been going with
Lebe, okay.
Yeah, that's where we've been going with up until this point.
Every time it's like you think I get it at this point, but for some odd reason I change it in my head every time I say it. But
I do find it interesting on what he's got though. Like they all have horns, but it's like a hummingbird, a teddy bear, an imp, and like I can't tell if it's like a moose or a cow or a hippo, but it's one of those things.
It looks like a cow to me, like a cow on its hind legs, like some kind of weird anime cow thing.
But the imp who's been the spokesman for the imp who's been the spokesman for the group up till this point, it just shows up and he's like, "Wow, that kid's a moron, isn't he, Mr. Knox?" And he's like, "Yep, sure is."
So then,
and then it just cuts to like the end of Asta's little like "Be my friend" speech. Join my crew. But he's like, anyways, it looks like we even want to take down the same people, so let's just crush all the bad guys together.
And then, what we got here? Oh, this is the one. After he says that, what was it again? Lebe?
Yeah, Lebe. He calls it. He says, "You really are a total idiot."
But then he starts flashing back to Lucida, and then we find out that Asta is definitely her child.
Yeah, the way it happens is it's the thing that causes the flashback. Even is he's like, "Oh, by the way, what's your name?" And then it cuts back to the moment where she first asked what his name was.
And they have pretty much the same exact face.
Like, I don't have. Yeah, he says I don't have one. She's like, "Oh, I'll just give you one then." It's like from today on, you're Lebe, and then he that's where he says he really is Lasita's kid, and then gives him the name, which immediately clears stuff up. I wish more manga did stuff like that, of like, give us 2 chapters to theory craft and then give us the answer, because I hate waiting like hundreds of chapters for a simple answer. Not even like something earth shattering, something super mundane that like could be given immediately.
Yeah. It's like, we didn't need this. The internet didn't need this fire for all these years. Oh man, I hate that part. It's like, oh my god. There's so many different series that do it. But it's like Black Clover, I really enjoy, because it has so many little things that I enjoy.
I feel like I enjoy it a lot for the same reasons I like Fairy Tail. It's like, the story isn't deep. It's deeper than Fairy Tail, but it's not like outrageously like lore intensive. But at the same time, it's usually just a freaking hype machine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like, a hype machine that rarely, if ever, gets delayed. And then there was Fairy Tail, which was like, if it got delayed, it gave you 2 chapters as an apology.
It's like, I'm sorry, I came down with the common cold. Here's like 4 chapters in a week. Like, oh, he's a monster. I don't know how he does that. We've had so many discussions on him just being a machine.
My favorite dumb fun fact is the fact that the boat arc on Berserk started and ended at the same time that Fairy Tail in its entirety started and ended.
Oh my god, that was so long. You know, that's honestly more of a sad fact than anything. It's not even like, it's like you laugh at it and then you kind of,
level of consistency I wish anyone could achieve besides him.
oh man.
Because you know what was happening in freaking One Piece during that time?
What? Oh no.
Punk Hazard and then straight to Dressrosa.
Oh my god.
2 arcs.
Oh.
All of Fairy Tail.
Oh.
It's not hating on Oda, but God, nobody is Hiro Mashima.
I was watching a video. They released the a trailer for the ending of the Punk Hazard dub, and it made a big deal about Don Flamingo going into Dressrosa. It's like, here I come. They even ended on like such a trailer line, you know. It's like, here I come, and it's like, I'm not excited at all. It's like, ooh, Dressrosa again. Here we go. Dressrosa, but in anime form, which was what, like a chapter an episode? That's when it got real bad.
So whenever they started doing the whole chapter and episode, the format, and it was like, that's not good.
Because Dressrosa took like over 100. We figured out.
Yeah, I think it's 100 exactly.
I can't.
It's like 100 exactly. Wano's about to beat it.
Really? Wano hasn't felt that long.
Wano's been a while, man.
You know, I think Wano's just better.
That's
so it's like
the weird part. It's like Whole Cake Island feels like it ended like a couple months ago, like 2 or 3. It's been in for a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you know, like at the beginning of this year, what it was? The Odin flashback.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man.
Oh my god.
It just doesn't.
That was this year?
Yeah, at the beginning of this year.
I thought that was last year.
The Odin flashback was the beginning of this year, man.
Oh, this year's been long, dude. It's like, it feels like I'll see a video from like a year or 2 ago, and it's like, I swear.
I watched that like 5 days ago. What are you talking about? When it came out.
Yeah.
I have that feeling all the time.
Oh man. Oh. But okay, so we'll get back to Black Clover just to finish it up. As we're pretty far through the chapter, they decide to start working together, and then Asta he gets a band on his arm.
They both do.
Yeah. And then Asta gets his demon arm back. It's not
Yeah,
gone
with like
anymore.
his little like freak out tear, the ladybug eyes. He's like, whoa!
I worked too hard for that muscle to lose it.
Basically.
But then
He's like, I was fine with giving it away, but at the same time, I wanted it back.
and then after that, Nox says, it may have been a dumb decision, but you or an unorthodox one, but you chose right. Which is kind of interesting coming from him.
Yeah, and he smiles for the first time.
Which is kind of, I mean, he has a
because I doubt
nice-
he's shown.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he probably wishes he could show that level of mercy. Like, despite like losing everything to something, Asta's very strange in that sense. But then he's like, however, and that's whenever the imp pops up and he's again, come on, and he's like, come on, guys, we're up. And then they all just start materializing like right behind Noct as he's still talking, and he's like, but people who are right aren't necessarily rewarded, and so you're going to get stronger. And so the big like teddy bear one turns into that like Wendigo form, and then just walks into Noct while he's talking, and he transforms around him into a cloak, and then he also gets a demon arm and a hat, and he looks like just
a Bloodborne person.
Yeah, he looks like a hunter from Bloodborne, and it's awesome.
It is
He's
really
got
cool.
like he's got the whole Lovecraftian kind of boots and hat and everything, and then he's just like, in order to keep yourself from losing to unjust evil, you're just going to keep fighting me for the rest of the time we have until you beat me, like both of you.